Good morning. I thought I'd make a video about painting my mural. I know that my sister Kathy really enjoys watching the mural painting. And I'm at a place right now where I'm working at the bottom of a background bush. And this is the surface I have to work on. You can see where I left off on the edging of this bush. So close up, you can see that the surfaces are very rough that I'm working with. In fact, since I started this blue and the sand color, the dirt color, the neighbor has put up other surface behind the fence, cardboard, plywood, whatever, because he has some big dogs over there, some German Shepherds, that sometimes bark when I'm out here. And this is a very old shaky fence. As you can see, it's got holes in it. Anyway, this is the brush that I use, a cheap little chip brush for doing the edging. You can see that I do some, I'll show you. So when I do the edges, I want it to be kind of bushy looking. But you're dealing with a lot of different surfaces that sometimes are hard to fill. As you can see the difference from this board to this board, how weathered this makes big cracks. And it can be hard to paint when there are big cracks. Because when you're painting, the paint will run down in the crack, and then sometimes it'll run into an area you don't want painted that color. So you have to be careful not to overload your brush in those areas. Doesn't matter so much with where I'm working right now, because everything underneath is the same color. But as you'll see when I do tree branches, that's not the case. And I do try to fill in the cracks as much as I can, without being overly paranoid about it. And to some degree, you see I even put some paint in the back to help cover up the larger spaces of the background board. Anyway, here, let me wipe this brush off a little. It's always a good idea to wipe your brush off on a surface you're going to paint later, so you don't waste paint. Let's back up and look at this from a distance. For those of you who may not have seen the current mural. Now I have mural work over here that I did a little bit with the help of my grandson. It's an entirely different kind of mural, but it's what I've put behind the turtle pin. And you can see over on the other walls, different vision for those walls than the one I'm working on right now. This brush is the brush that I use for the larger spaces. Even though it doesn't have the biggest covering surface, I could get a wider brush and cover more at once. I like this brush because of the long handle. When I'm getting down towards the ground, I don't have to bend over so far. I mean, I am 52 and I have high blood pressure. And this is the brush I use when I'm doing the branches, because it's really good at getting a loaded tip where the paint's just on the tip of the brush, so that you can roll that along the edge of a surface and make it very smooth. So let's take a look at this so far. Even though we're in the sun, you can't see it too well. I'll get closer and farther away so you can see it better. So right now the sun's kind of on it, and you can kind of see it from that angle, how far I've gotten. We'll get a bit of a closer look. Okay, should adjust to the darkness. There it goes. So I have a tall tree here that does not yet have any kind of leaves or brush on it. We have some more background bushes that will be through here. You can see where I left off for that. And here's my trees over here. And yes, they are intending to have their own leaves and brush. This green is just the background of the bush or bushes behind it. And you can see when I want to get a more smooth surface, that's where I use the small brush. So here's what some of the edges look like. And when you back up, it sort of looks like bushes. Even though when you're close up, you really notice all the flaws in the wood and the background and my paint job, etc. And I have to go all the way down to the fence, the gate, all the way down there and through the gate for this mural. But I'm just working on this end right now. I have been asked, what kind of trees are they going to be? Are you going to make them apple trees or cherry trees? But the truth is, the trees will be whatever I have paint for. Most of this paint is left over from interior house jobs. Some of it has been given to me by people who did their own house paint work and had leftover paint. And they gave paint to me, and I used their leftovers for as long as it would last. And then when I run out, I don't have any more. Over here we're going to have a feed shed for dwarf goats and a lean-to for extra shade. And of course the fencing will go around these 3 poles, keep the goats away from that tree. But a lot of this mural will be covered by structure and goats, which is why it's not as carefully made. It's in a state of undone because most of it will end up covered. Anyway, hope you have a great day today. I hope you've learned a little bit about my particular mural and how I'm making it. And I hope you check out my other videos, my turtle videos and sky videos, pollinator videos, grandkids, etc. Have a fabulous day. And don't be afraid to try something new yourself. I'm not some famous painter. I'm just making this for me. When you make something to make yourself have a little bit of joy, that's not a very high bar to reach. And yet you'll see other people will like the work that you do too. It'll make them feel inspired to do a little work in their yard. So God bless. Have a great day.